and so it swivels up this way and this way. So you can stand sometimes and surf this puppy. It's an 18-foot pintail, and so that can be really fun. You can, really get your proper stance going, get the centerboard out of the way, and kind of lock in under here, and it really is comfortable and fun. And so I was doing that until I sort of noticed, like, oh, that was a big one. Oh, that was a rather intense one as well. And then I sort of like lift my gaze up, and it's whitecaps, like big, scary ones, as far as I can see. And all of a sudden, yet again, I'm in a real ocean situation, and the ocean doesn't care. It's like, you put yourself here, I'm gonna eat you up, like, where the wild things are. I reef down the sails, and what I'm getting at is it's those moments of potential terror that you don't, it seems to me you got two options. You can do the best you can and deal with the situation at hand, which I think is the preferred option, or you can like pee your pants and cry and freak out and die. So I chose the former. And in this particular situation, I just had to reef the sail down. These are reefs. You can see I roll the sail up. The reason you do that is to lessen the amount of sail that's up in big winds. And I rode it out, and I was fine. And I don't, right now as I'm saying it to you, I realize that I'm not quite conveying the intensity of that particular situation, because there's been a good number of them. But it doesn't matter, because the larger point is being alone. And it's not, I never think of it as like a macho thing, like man in the sea. It's very much man with the sea. But regardless, you get to a point where you realize, and I think I'm coming full circle here, I'm coming in for a landing now in my talk. I realize that the time alone is wonderful and important. And I was alone in my life at that time anyway. I had my family and I had my friends, but I wasn't in a relationship. I wasn't really even in a community any longer. And for all this harrowing sea adventure stuff, through all that, I realized that that stuff is wonderful, but there's also the harrowing sea adventure, so to speak, of being in a place and having relations and being connected. And I think that's what's so wonderful about the Eco Center here, because we have a night like tonight where I can, yammer towards some effort at expressing myself and what I've done and why I hope that I'm explaining that. But it's the being here in this place, living in this community, that these trips have made me appreciate so much. I think rather than tell you more adventures from the high seas, don't get me talking about Mavericks. Well, I actually, no, please. Mavericks? Yeah, okay. Because of these harrowing sea adventures, this is going to be quick, I promise. Because of this harrowing sea business, 400 miles down the coast in Baja, no one's coming to help you. I did, however, have a device, a satellite device. I had no interest. A friend of mine, before I left on this trip, this is leading to Mavericks, a friend of mine said, hey, Beamish, are you like, we're on the phone, are you trying to disappear at sea? Like pull some legend thing. Evan said has a legend, I don't know. And I promise, I'm not interested in that. But the fact that he would ask, right? That's a little troubling. Clearly there's consequences, potentially, in this kind of undertaking. I don't think John Muir, to come back to my patron saint, I don't think John Muir was trying to disappear when he was walking on glaciers or edging along the bottoms of waterfalls in the late 19th century with a biscuit in his wool coat. There's, you try these things, there's an element of risk. That's all I'll say. That deep water, that big ocean stuff, I think you either see it, you either glimpse the face of that thing and don't want anything more to do with it, or perhaps you find some arrangement with it, some agreement. Obviously, you might agree the ocean does whatever it's going to do. I'm convinced though, through this deep water, small boat, big coastline sort of stuff that I got into, circumstances, friends, influences led me to paddle out after this journey to big waves up at Mavericks in Half Moon Bay. And I've been surfing my whole life, but I hadn't really surfed in waves like as high as that water tower. But as I was paddling out on my buddy's borrowed big wave board, because I didn't have a big wave board, I was really enjoying that heft and roll, that like maritime feeling. And combined with the surfing I'm so familiar with, combined with T Street, right? Like with seeing waves and knowing how it all works. This deep water thing, there's this deep water thing that once you realize you just have to hold it together, and it's okay. It's okay. And in the winter of 2010, I rode some really magnificent waves, and I know that it was because I built this thing and went on these crazy journeys. And I'm looking forward to, I'm going to be a father in October. And I don't want to scare my family or do something foolhardy with my family, but it's so lovely. I do want to take my little girl and my wife and show them these magical places that you can get to in this mode of travel. I think we need a little bigger boat, but not much, like 24 feet. Same boat, 24 feet. This is 18 feet, 24 feet, 7 feet wide. A little bit bigger, snugger of a boat tent. But I mean, I think we're gonna have fun. Sandcastles, fishing, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm looking forward to. Please ask me questions if you have any about anything. The boat.
The book.
Oh, the book! Thank you. I've written a book. Yes. I better write a book. All this talking. I have written a book. Patagonia has very generously helped me in these endeavors. I built the boat and bought plywood, spent, I don't know, $1,000 or something, really like immaterial. $1,000, not even $1,000, lay it down, get the surfboard and go surfing, so to speak. $1,000, $200 here, $300 here for different supplies, because you build the boat from the spine up. So I built the boat, but Patagonia gave me nifty, windbreakers. They've got I'm not all merch and everything, right? But I have to admit, their gear is really good. I think, probably North Face or whatever. I'm not saying if you're gonna go outside you have to wear Patagonia, but their stuff really helped on these cold nights. Like, it's just so well designed, and it was brand new, some of it. Like, I just kind of shoved it in a bag and went on the trip, and then I'd bust out the parka and go, geez, this thing's nifty. Come on, this is great, because I was planning on going in an army sweater and a poncho and, call it good. But because I worked at the magazine, had connections, and voila, Chinchilla City. No, it's really good. I wanted to write about this. I wanted to write about some of these things that I've talked talked about. This natural history, this full immersion mode, this wilderness surfing idea, mavericks because of the deep water experience on the boat, and I've done that. They have my first draft as per our contract. As of June 1st, they have my manuscript. John Dutton is the editor up there, and they've got a lot of things going. We have yet to get into the second round of editing, and of course now that I'm away from it since June, there's I want to change everything and write it again. Not so much, but I'm very much looking forward to getting into it. Sometime, I hope coming up till Christmas, before Christmas, I want to go and do this and talk to more people, and get this book in the world. The title of it is By Sail and Oar, The Cormorant Journeys. I'm Christian Beamish, and Patagonia is publishing it. They are making beautiful books to go with their beautiful gear, and I'm really excited about getting this story out. It's a sustained narrative, and the writing of it somehow it's the exact opposite, right? 6 months in a boat, 6 months in a chair, but it's still the same focused attention in a very small area. So with that, I'll leave it off. If you look at the Patagonia website, at some point, I hope they're going to say, "Hooray for Christian Beamish, we've got a book coming out." And I don't know, maybe there'll be some magazine advertisement or, Terry Gross. So, Christian. Well, Terry, I tell you what, it's Pigeon Point.
That would be ideal.
It took me 2 years to build this boat. You can do it too. Do you have any questions?
Did you keep a journal while you were on?
I did. Yeah. This note of hesitation that you might hear, I didn't keep a journal as fastidiously as I have in the past. I wrote when I felt like it. I wrote a lot of letters to people, which was kind of interesting, because in that solitude, it made me realize the people who are close to me, that I need to be in contact with, and so in that way, I was in contact with them.
What's the website called? What's the name of the website?
Another note of hesitation. I have a website. There's 3 pictures where I took a picture of my feet, with a little bit of sail and water and, 5 paragraphs. It's called Flight of the Cormorant. There'll be more soon. Flight of the Cormorant is the name of the website I have. Yes, .com. Thank you for asking. And Patagonia, I have written some pieces for them on their website. There's a neat. I did an oral piece for a website called the Dirtbag Diaries, in which I kind of chronicled this epic crossing I did in Baja, which why I didn't tell you about it tonight, I don't know. I felt like telling you about the harrowing boat smash up. Sorry.
Hey Christian, you talked about the complexity of the plans. Obviously you're an incredible craftsman, you shape your surfboards, you build your boats, you do a lot of other things, but maybe, is there something that, could anyone build a boat, or what kind of adventure would be accessible to everyone, in your opinion?
I think yes, anyone can build a boat, because it's particularly this model of boat isn't actually that complex once you get the measure of it. Ian Oatred is the designer's name. He has a manual, and he doesn't exactly hold your hand through it, but if you want the thing, you can look at it and see how to proceed. I'm really holding myself back from diving into the description of how you begin. the boat. You build it upside down, though, for one thing. And here I go. And